Welcome to episode 11 of the Cards and Cartridges Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, aka OG Retro. I'm here with my man, Chris, aka Koozie Retro Games. Today, we're talking about PSA acquiring Genamint, however you say that company's name. I wanted to touch on the CGC price increase too. I had that in my notes. I didn't even tell you about that, Chris. I want to touch on that.
I was going to bring that up because I saw you ranting on your story the other day about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it real quick. And then Chris is going to lead us through Sony announcing how they were taking down the PSP, PS3, and PS Vita E-Store. And then a week or so later, they brought it back. Very, very interesting. Chris is also going to lead us through a conversation about how we display our card collections, how we store our card collections. We've talked about video game displaying and storage. We're going to talk about how we display and store our TCG cards. Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Let's start with the PSA.
PCP?
PC. We're starting with PCP today. It's a hardcore type of day. No, PSA acquiring this company. I don't know how to say their name. I want to say Genamint. It's Genamint. Do you think it's Genamint? Genamint or Genamint? What do you think? Genamint. I'm gonna say Genamint too. So they acquired Genamint. It was interesting. I read the story, and apparently Genamint was looking for some more funding. They weren't even really thinking about selling, but PSA actually approached them while they were looking for funding and was like, would you consider just selling it outright?
What is Genamint?
Genamint's an artificial intelligent company that specifically deals with trading cards.
Okay, grading aspect of them?
Yeah, assessing condition of trading cards. So I don't know if they were an independent grading company before, or like if this was just technology that they planned to kind of do something with because they were looking for more funding or something. Mm-hmm. But it's this technology that assesses the cards using artificial intelligence and is said to. So the question was like, are they replacing the human element of grading, right? Like, is that but PSA said no. I'm just going to answer that PSA said no, it's just kind of adding or whatever. But what do you think? Like, do you think that statement here, I'll read you exactly what he said.
I kind of understand how that statement makes sense, because are they going to use it to double check what the humans say, or are the humans going to double check what the AI says?
I think so. I personally think I'm a big fan, I guess, of AI and kind of using it in conjunction and supplementing like the workforce with it. So I think honestly, I think AI could be better at grading cards. I think grading cards is so subjective, or not it should be. It's too subjective right now and needs to be more objective.
Yeah. So is there any companies right now that use AI? Does CGC use AI?
I'm not sure. I know they do the high quality scans and everything of the cards and then doing that. I'm not sure if they're actually using artificial. I mean, we can double check that. And if you guys know anything about how CGC grades, I'm pretty sure it's still a human, but I'm not 100%.
Always whenever I send off cards, I say a little prayer. I'm like, I pray my grader has his cup of coffee, his morning poop, and he's in a good day. And he's feeling good. But like, I'd assume in each grader's cubicle, or however they do it, they have like obviously a sheet telling them like each mishap takes off such and so points until you get to the lower grades. But I mean, one mishap to one grader could be not a mishap to the other. Like, you could see a speck of a corner, and the one grader could be like, oh, the corner's fucked, but the other grader could be like, okay, we'll let that pass for this time.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely, and that's been talked about a lot in the market, and people post eBay sales that sell, I think most recently, even the most recent base set Charizard that sold, like first edition with like PSA 10, looked so shot. Like,
really,
it looked so like 8, or definitely not a 10. Wow. Like the corners are definitely all fucked, and you could see a lot of whitening on the edge, and it was like, the front looked pretty good. Like the eye appeal of the car was real nice, whatever. But it's still like, by today's standards, I feel like would definitely be like an 8, or should have been like an 8. It didn't look that. The back looked really fucked. And so I think I'm in the court that with artificial intelligence, we'll see way higher like accuracy. Like I hope. And especially because AI is trained too. Like the point of AI is that it can learn. Like, and so the more cards the system grades and the more cards it sees, and like it can, PSA can train it by basically cross-referencing it. So like feeding the AI like the grader's results. So if they grade a 10, it's hard for me to explain in a way that makes sense, I feel like. But if they show the AI, like the machine learning, a 10, it'll know what a 10 looks like. And it'll be
a weird
it'll
thing.
be
It's
able
so
to
mind-boggling.
It'll be able to identify things that look like the perfect 10 that like the best PSA grader did. So like the CEO of PSA could like say like what a 10 looked like, and the AI could fucking match that like every time perfectly, no grader error. Machine learning doesn't have to have its cup of coffee. So it's like,
exactly.
And then you have employees that check those grades, that make sure it's good, make sure everything's good. And then they can basically get rid of not get rid of, but transfer the employees that were doing grading and have them work on the next step, like because they're going to need to expand that. Like they're going to need more employees doing the next stuff.
And that was my next question to you. How did you did you feel like PSA was going to get backlash, maybe just from the community, because they just went through this thing where they hired in a bunch of people and they're like, yeah, we're hiring people, we're providing all these jobs. Then they bring in these AIs. It's like when a grocery store gets a bunch of self-checkout machines. Like, is it taking away from the humans' jobs?
Yeah, I mean, I think in essence, not really. But like, if you look at it, so on one side, yes, I think a lot of quote unquote grader jobs, like I don't think that will exist as the smarter this AI system gets. And if we can see it implemented at the scale that I am thinking about, and like I hope that they are, to like quote, like they want this to help solve the backlog problem.
Oh,
like
it's going to create so much more speed.
Exactly. So like, obviously, if that happens, they're trying to get rid, because that's a huge, I feel like, bottleneck to have a human sit there, examine a card, like really go over the minutia with a magnifying glass and everything. That's gonna suck. That sucks. And then you replace that with a machine. But then, so that job goes away. But I think actually you might have more jobs created by the AI, because you're going to need, obviously the volume is going to increase. I don't know like what percentage you'd be looking at, like what times, but like a lot. If this is implemented, like I said, the way I think they want it to be, they're trying to do like right now, I think that an article came out, but with human resources, they're doing 20 to 25,000 cards a day.
Wow.
Grading 20 to 25,000 cards a day.
And keep in mind, they were getting 500,000 cards a week. That's why they have the backlog that they do.
Yeah, it's insane. And the day before the PSA shutdown, they got over 600,000 submissions one day.
Because everybody heard about
everybody heard it. Yep. So anyways, where was I going with that? So, the jobs that will be created by this. So yes, the grading jobs, I think you're going to lose a lot of individual graded jobs, but that's a good thing. You're going to have so many people, so many more assembly jobs needed. I think like actually the physically encapsulating the cards, like that, those jobs are going to open up like crazy. We're going to need so many more people doing that. And I think there's going to be steps now before like there's going to be jobs before the card goes to the machine, like accepting and like cataloging. I think that
even like
stuff,
that takes a long time. My one latest PSA submission sat in like arrived for so long, and then research and ID for so long.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So that stuff, I think they're going to be able to move along faster with actually having like more bodies,
Do you know when this is supposed to come into play?
Let me see here. I have the article right here.
Was the PSA like CEO on like an interview and that's where this came out, or did they come out with an official statement?
This was just a quick statement in an interview by sportscollectorsdaily.com.
Cool. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm about it. I like it. I think and like the people actually maintaining the software, like people working on the AI, like that's a job too. Running the software is a job. The 100%. People running the computers is a job. So like I think I don't think
jobs are lost in one place, jobs are going to open up in other places.
Yeah, and maybe because it's going to be more efficient, maybe more jobs are going to open. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Two quick things for kind of what we're talking about PSA and grading. One, when PSA opens back up after the shutdown, do you think prices are still going to be at that jacked up price? Or do you think prices are going back to normal?
It's a great question.
Because I think they said that they jacked up the price to try to slow down submissions, but that didn't work. So they had to totally shut down.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, well, yeah, not completely. I think it's going to come down to somewhere in the middle of where it was and where we are now. And also you got to remember they closed, there were no more membership tiers. You couldn't buy PSA memberships anymore, which were tiers that gave you access to cheaper grading costs and everything. So I think those will come back as well once they get their shit figured out.
Yeah.
And so that'll be another option for people. I don't think that we're going to see, like at one point you could send in bulk subs for like $7 a card or something.
Yeah.
Like
I was sending cards really, for like $9 a card.
Yeah. Really, really cheap. I don't think we're going to see that again. I mean, everything is raising in price. Inflation's a real thing. So I don't think we're going to see that.
It's also just if you're doing so much business that you're coming out the back door, why not raise price if people are still going to pay it?
Yeah, I agree. It's in the end of the day, they're a business, you know?
Exactly.
And we can quickly touch on the CGC price increase too. And everybody kind of knew it was coming. So if you didn't know, CGC went and followed suit with the other grading companies, raising their prices or announcing they're going to raise their prices. It doesn't go into effect until I believe cards received after May 28th will be the new prices. Cards received before May 28th will be honored with the old pricing, which is pretty generous of them to like. I feel like just both the other grading companies, it was like
PSA was just like a rumor that got leaked and everybody started panic sending.
Yeah. It was weird. I could be wrong, but I feel like the other two companies didn't give that much notice.
No.
BGS maybe a couple weeks. So I could be wrong. Anyways,
how much are prices increasing?
Prices increased, I believe, from 15 to 22 per card.
Oh, so we're not doubling like PSA.
No, I don't. That's what I was saying. And that was like my big thing. It wasn't that crazy of a price increase. It was, it's a chunk. It's a solid percent. You're sending in a lot. If you're sending 100 cards, it's a good amount of money. But like you said, it's not double like PSA or triple like, PSA is wild. But
how much is it to submit cards to BGS now? Is it about like that $100 per card?
No, you can still submit like I think I'm gonna check, but I believe it's still
I've never 55 submitted BGS before.
I believe it's still 30 and 55, but I could be wrong. Let's see here. Submission form. Oh my gosh. I'm looking it up right now. Bear with me.
Yeah, because I've never submitted to BGS, but I thought when I was looking on there, it was $100 per card, but maybe I was looking at more of a faster turnaround time. And I thought maybe
I think sports cards are different.
I was going to say sports cards have a different price than trading cards, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Beckett is a little weirder than like they're. Oh gosh, whatever, dude. You can't figure it out. Oh, online price guide? No, I'm done. I'm done. We'll get back to you on
last one I wanted to bring up about this.
That's the thing, though. Beckett's website's so confusing.
That's like VGA's website is brutal to use. You ever grade with VGA video games?
Absolutely not.
It's
I hate their.
You get errors when you click on links, and it's just brutal. Wada walks you through with a cupcake in one hand and your hand in their other hand. It's so easy.
Okay, I did find it.
Last thing I want to bring up. Fine, tell us. We've been waiting for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so you can still. It's still really. It's nice, dude. $20 a card, $35 a card for economy, $50 a card. You can get no subgrades for cheaper too. And then Express is 100. So it's still not bad. Anyways, continue.
So my last thing about grading in the sports card community, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, how there's like numbered cards out of 99, out of 25, etc.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to one of ones, people are a lot of people are against grading one of ones, and I don't see why. Well, I guess I do, because they're all like, so out of the newest basketball set that just got released, within like the first 2 days, the LeBron James 1/1 got pulled. So it's like, imagine pulling that. You're rich. You're rich pulling the LeBron James 1/1. But it graded through PSA, and it came back as 7.5.
Wow.
So people are like, that's why you don't grade 101s. But I feel like the condition, as long as it's not like bent in half, shouldn't really matter a ton, especially when it's a 1/1, especially of a high player like LeBron.
Well, that's what we know sports cards collectors are weird. Okay. I truly believe they're stranger than Pokemon card collectors. I don't know how they function. It's bizarre to me. But I think, what about just grading it as authentic?
That could be, because my thing is, I'm not even thinking of like the grade in my head. I just like the protective case that it's in. So when you send in I don't trust a LeBron James 1/1 in a top loader or even like a one touch. I want it in the protective graded case. So grading as authentic would be great, I think.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, but it's like, people are just like, you shouldn't grade one.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they're so butthurt about condition on a 1/1 card.
There was some, especially when it's like LeBron. There was another thing that came out. So like a Juan Soto 1/1 got graded by Beckett, and it was like a 9 or whatever, a 9.5 or whatever. The guy cracked it and then resubmitted to PSA, and it was like a Juan Soto autograph card. But in the process of him cracking it and submitting it, the auto got smudged, and then it got submitted to PSA. And now people are like, well, is Beckett gonna update the population report saying like, we didn't grade this card and now PSA graded it? That's a
whole mess, and I bet that guy wants to end it all.
Oh, 100%. All right, we've been babbling. Let's move on.
All right, you should take us through a topic now. It's your turn.
Cool. Let's talk about Sony and them announcing that they're going to close the PS3, PS Vita, and PSP online stores.
Insanity.
So if you haven't heard, Sony announced that they were going to do that, and the market went insane. People were, oh my God. It's like you went from like a
shout out Corey Sally.
Yeah, that dude. He's going for the full PS3 set, and he's close.
Psychopath.
But PS3, basically your Tuesday night, nobody really cares about PS3. Sony announces that they're shutting down the online store, and all of a sudden everybody's a PS3 collector. You're seeing all these games just jump in price, especially like the RPGs or the horror games.
Yep.
Just
that's pretty
skyrocket in price. The biggest one I saw was there was this game called Best of PlayStation Network Volume 1.
Yeah.
And just to kind of give you some price charting history, in February, it was valued at $26 complete on price charting. After Sony announced that they were shutting down the market, it jumped to $150 complete in March. And just now it's like in April, it's $113 complete. So you just saw this giant spike. Oh my God, the market's closing. And then Sony's like, oh, never mind. We're actually going to keep them open. And it's coming right back down to earth.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much my thoughts on that are kind of everything you just described. I mean,
it's just crazy.
It's just crazy.
It's how fast people can be like, oh my God, now I have to collect PS3.
Right.
How fast the prices change.
How fast people jump on a trend, or like how fast people FOMO, like fear of missing out. That happens in the stock market all the time. It's like people get in late to the party, and I mean, sometimes it pays off.
But most of the time it does.
Most of the time,
also,
yeah. If you're chasing the money,
cash.
right? If you're chasing the money, something usually happens. And in this case, Sony just said, "Fuck you."
The CEO came out and was like, "We made a bad decision. We're not going to close these shops." I think they're still closing the PSP shop, but they're still going to keep PS3 and PS Vita. And the one that shocked me the most was PS3, because PS Vita is already a collectible system and something you don't find often. And prices are already kind of wonky on those. But just the fact that you think of when the PS3 was going to start being collectible just over a normal time frame and people, wanting to start to collect that, you would have seen the Xbox 360 also start to gain popularity in that time.
Right.
But the fact that the Sony servers or the Sony stores all right, we're shutting down, and PlayStation went to the moon, but nothing happened with 360. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and I think, the thing is too, Xbox does a really good job with Game Pass. I feel like bringing back a lot of the 360 games available, play for free and all this cool shit. So
also backwards compatibility.
Yeah, that too.
They do really well with.
They do. Yeah, it's Xbox systems have been backwards compatible for ever, which is badass.
I've got a backwards compatible PS3 in our live claim sale tonight, but you guys will hear this late.
This is true. Someone will probably have already bought it. Fingers crossed.
Real quick, because we know you guys dip out at the end of the podcast. Just want to announce something real quick. We're gonna release an episode. So this is coming out on Monday, and then we're gonna release an episode the Monday after. But I think we may be taking a week off somewhere there. I'm going on a 2-week road trip with my girlfriend, and
Chris is going to find himself.
Yes.
Going on a soul-searching mission.
I wish. I've been working the entire time. I wish it could be something where just drive into the sunset in the cornfields of Iowa and reminisce.
Dude, that's life. No. That's where the children of the corn live, bro. You don't want to get killed.
Pick up a hitchhiker on the way and let him tell you his life story.
That's a fun story. That's a good one.
But going on a little road trip, and then we're gonna have 3 weeks off from the claim sale from it. Don't know what Ryan's gonna be doing during that time. He'll keep you guys updated, but hopefully
we'll cook something up. We'll cook something up. No, I'm not gonna cheat on you, but we'll cook something.
But so back to the PlayStation, it's literally just crazy. And the PS3 and Vita online stores are here to stay, so you guys can chill on the PS3 train. But
here's the thing. When you say here to stay,
for now,
yes. So I think this is a very interesting thing, though, still to look at. I think because everybody kind of always asks, what's the next thing to collect? N64 is getting too expensive. GameCube's getting too expensive. PlayStation 2 is so expensive. Dreamcast, so expensive. What do you collect next? Well, here's a little insight. You saw what happened when stores start to shut down, when digital games become unavailable and people want that stuff. Everyone there, go check eBay sold for PS3 games and go buy those games now that they dropped again, because those are the games that when the PS3 store does because it's not going to stay up forever. Online store that just does, and same thing with the Nintendo eShop. Games that are available on the Nintendo eShop, that are also available physically, those might want to be games that you want to take a look at in terms of collecting for the long term.
Plus, especially these popular eShop games and things like that, you see kids, just your normal everyday parents buying games for their kids, or just kids playing these games. They probably don't really care if it's digital or physical.
100%.
So a lot of them are buying digital, which then just puts less supply out when these things are actually in demand.
Yeah. Well, they produce a certain amount, so I wouldn't quite say that. They might do more print runs depending on demand, but when first launch, they'll produce a certain amount. So, but there still could be a lower supply in the long term because there's not a second print run or whatever of that game.
It just feeds into the market of how crazy collecting is right now. It's just another thumbtack on the wall. It's just another thing up there.
100%, dude. That's it's just so interesting. I think
all happened within the span of a week.
I just think it's so important for people that really want to tap into that next thing. So pay attention to shit like this, and pay attention to stuff that won't be available
I think Wii
soon.
U is such an untapped market still.
Yeah, it's a great point. Wii U, nobody even knows what, like, half of Nintendo collectors like don't really know what the Wii U is.
Even like just normal like parents that don't know what the Wii U is. They think it's a Wii. And it's just like, that's gonna be so collectible. It's like, get these like, and there's so many different like special edition big boxes and things like that. Like I just got a graded Zelda big box. Like I wouldn't imagine that that's gonna skyrocket when Wii U collecting starts to go up.
100%. But just to give you some idea, the Wii U only sold 13.56 million units. Okay. Only 13 million. That might sound like a big number, but that's literally like Nintendo's worst selling anything of ever.
Yeah.
So the next worst thing, and I'm surprised, but like the GameCube sold 22 million units, but that was also during a time when Nintendo was not kind of like the leader of the space. Like Sony was kicking ass. So that makes sense, because the PlayStation, I love talking about this stuff, and I know we're going on tangents, but that's what podcasts are. PlayStation 2 sold more than 155 million units, bro.
So 120 million or 140 million less.
More, was the GameCube.
So many.
Yeah, and the Wii U is like, 140 million less than a PlayStation 2. It sold basically, it just beat out the Sega Game Gear in popularity.
What did?
The Wii U.
Just with the Virtual Boy. What's the worst one? Virtual Boy? Is even listed?
Let's see. Virtual Boy. Maybe it's not even listed.
Yeah, I've got a factory sealed Wii U, which I'm excited
about. Not even
about.
Listed on this. I'm not crazy. Sure. That's funny. But
tap into the Wii U. And it's another reason why I think it's gonna be so collectible. Collectors like to do full sets, and the Wii U's got one of the smallest sets.
Are there some really rare games for the Wii U?
Yeah. So there's some rare games for the Wii U, and even those, a lot of the rare games are like less than $50 right now. Like you can, so it's just like, so there's like the most expensive Wii U game, I believe, is called Devil's Third. Shout out to Brentstagram. I think he's got a factory sealed copy. I'm trying to get him to grade.
Hell yeah. Brent has a bunch of cool Wii U stuff.
Just got so much random stuff. So Devil's Third is a good one. Hello Kitty Cruisers is pretty rare. Wii Sports Club is expensive. There's a Mario and Sonic at the 2016 Winter Sochi Games, something like that. That's pretty expensive. And obviously, like, there's a lot. So the Wii U was big into like special edition big boxes. So I can see like they did like Mario Party 10. They did one with like a Bowser amiibo, a Peach amiibo, a Mario amiibo,
did some really cool big boxes.
You may see like something like to where like the Peach amiibo version is expensive later in life. Or it's crazy. I love Wii U collecting. I've got like 70 games.
Wow. So you're like close.
Yeah, and a lot of them are factory sealed because I was buying up a lot of. So Walmart's around me would discount their Wii U games between like 3 cents. I was getting Wii U games for 3 cents.
That's insane.
3 cents and $5, and I was just buying every one I didn't have.
Why not, dude? That's honestly a really good call.
I got like 10 copies of Mario Tennis sealed for like $3.
You still have it? Still have 10? I would love to.
I might not have 10, but I've got a good stash.
I want to grab one.
Yeah.
If you'd sell one to me, because Mario Tennis is like one of my favorite.
Dude, I think even on
eBay,
they're like $20 for a sealed copy and things.
That makes sense. Yeah, like, that makes sense. I bet they produced a lot of these games. Although, dude, I don't know, because like I was just saying with the print run thing, like if the demand wasn't there, they weren't just gonna fill the stores with these things.
No, and it's so hard.
But I really don't know how that supply chain works.
You look at something like 3DS and you're trying to bet on what games are going to be expensive for the 3DS. And there's so many out there. And you're like, you don't want to just start spending money on random games that have the potential to not go up. But I think once you narrow down a set to so small like the Wii U, it's easier to pinpoint those games.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you, like you just said, even if you don't pinpoint, the Wii U is such a small set. And if you,
and even if you want to start Wii U collecting right now and you just want to collect and not play, buy sealed. On a lot of these games, the difference between, even if you're buying on eBay, the difference between complete and sealed is like $10.
Yeah, I think that's smart. It only makes sense. Why not?
Yeah.
The sealed market's going nuts right now. We've talked about it before, but it's just like, whew, right?
Yeah. Another tangent down. What can we tangent on next?
I feel like I did want to take that conversation to a tangent. I was like kind of holding myself back. But
what even started that conversation? Oh, Sony shutting down. When we got into Wii U collecting.
Sony shutting down, going into Wii U collecting. Yeah.
Welcome to the Cards and Cartridges Podcast, everybody.
Hell yeah, dude. We can end it with a oh no, we wanted to talk about, let's talk about your, I don't want to talk about my last topic. Let's talk about your the how to display cards. I think that's such a better topic.
So last week we talked about kind of how we display our cards. And was last week? No, 2 weeks ago was one with Retro Alley, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we had Retro Alley on. 2 weeks ago
we talked about with Retro Alley kind of how we display our game collections. And I know, Ryan, you have a pretty big card collection. So I want to hear some of your thoughts on how you display your card collection or store your card collection.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. I was talking to my my friend Rock Pokemon today. I don't know if we talked a little bit about this, but the first thing that comes to my mind, actually we did. I really like, okay, so you've got sealed product, you've got like singles, you've got slab product or slab pieces in your collection, you've got maybe what else could there be, like maybe bulk cards that you don't really know what to do with.
A separate topic after you talk about this.
So I'm someone who started by just focusing on like binder sets. Like I think the first thing I literally did was finish the base unlimited binder set. Like I got all those just all those cards, knocked it out, and that started it. So I love binder sets, and I have pretty much every Wizards of the Coast besides like the Expedition series. I have every other Wizards of the Coast binder set. I missed out on a Shadowless binder set today.
I'm sorry to bring this topic up today when you missed out on your Shadowless set.
Fuck that. Don't want to talk about that. And the funny thing is, I do have like a complete Shadowless, not like all the non-holos. I actually do have all those cards. Yeah. But yeah, whatever. That was lame. Anyways, I like binder sets. And then, so those are obviously easily, like you just store them in a binder. That's the answer there. And they look good. Someone from
New Jersey. What do you mean by that? It's just a 3-ring binder with some trading card sleeves.
But there's nuance that different? I do it different because I don't like the three-ring binders because they have a tendency to maybe put dents in the cards. Okay. The rings in the middle will put especially, that's why you see Charizard's number 4. Oftentimes you'll see Charizard with a dent on the left edge because that binder is full and it crinks in on the Charizard.
That makes a lot of sense actually.
And so so Charizard being number 4 will often have, if it wasn't like, if it was like a binder card and maybe like in a kid's binder where it wasn't like a school binder or something like that just had the like a really flipping through it real quick, it had a tendency to get a little nick or like a little dent in the left side. So I use like Ultra Pro makes really good binders, Card Guard makes really good binders, but anything that's doesn't have the rings and just has pages like bound to like a book, almost like a portfolio, and they like fit sleeves really nicely, so you can do card sleeve binder, like card sleeve binder.
Do those binders pages, do you just put the card in the sleeve, or do you put the card in a top penny sleeve and then in the binder?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so like a penny sleeve or like a perfect fit, and then into the binder sleeve itself.
And how do you keep track of what you're missing? Is it just kind of off the dome, or do you have like an Excel spreadsheet of like cards you're missing from each set?
So back when I was missing like a lot of cards, I did that. I had an Excel sheet, and I think Poke Collector is a good website too. I think that's what it's called. If you make an account, you can like track sets. and it's really good because it has like full images of the cards and everything and a nice layout. So like I use Poke Collector for the set list when I'm organizing my binders, so I can see like just numbered visually what the pages should look like. So that's a good tip there. But yeah, so I think it's a good way to just know what you need. But at this point, like I said, my binder collections are pretty much full, pretty much done. I'm working on the Shining Fates Shiny Vault. So I do actually have a Poke Collector thing for that. Like
is there an app for that or just a website?
I think it's just a website. Maybe I use it on my phone too. So it's mobile friendly at the very least.
Cool.
So moving on from binder sets, then you got single cards, which nice single cards, if I'm selling them, they'll be in a penny sleeve in top loader or card saver. Like it depends how nice they are.
Yeah.
Maybe like 5 to 15 might just be in a perfect fit and into a top loader, and anything above 15 probably get a card saver.
Do you use one touches at all?
No, fuck that.
You know, like one touches?
Yeah, I think most people hate them, and so I hate them, which is just kind of pretty lame reasoning to hate something. I hate going along with the crowd, not actually using the product.
I've got a couple of cards in one touches, just more personal collection cards. Just kind of gives them more of a sense of security than just a
those are the ones
loader.
Are those
like the little magnet? No, I'm not. Those are screw downs.
Screw downs. Okay.
So yeah, people hate screw downs.
Yeah, that's
if they're in especially a lot of older cards. If you find like your dad's collection, he may have cards in screw downs.
Yeah, it was like
a lot of those. If you unscrew them, the cards will be like stuck to the glass or whatever.
Oh, wow.
No, one touches are like a current thing where it's like a screw down, but it comes down with a magnet, and they're like engraved out, so like the card isn't specifically like pressed up against two pieces of glass.
Right.
You can get one touches at Walmart, and I've got a couple cards in them. I really like them.
You like them? And do you put the cards go in a sleeve first or no?
No.
Interesting. And do the cards?
At least I don't. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Do the cards rattle around at all, or
no? It's a pretty perfect fit. It's like a PSA case, kind of. If you go like that, if you kind of shake it, you can hear it a little bit, but it's a pretty perfect fit.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe I'll check this out. So, but thank you for the other way to. So one touches. There you go.
It's the size of like, it's made out of acrylic, so it's like a PSA case. So it's nice. It's sturdy.
I think I've definitely seen them. I've just never used them.
I got a package coming to you tomorrow, whatever. I think I have an extra one. I'll send you one.
Oh yeah, thank you. And then for PSA cards and like for graded cards, there are so many. I mean, you can go so many ways, because I ideally one day when I have like a dope house would love to have a really legit display, like a glass cabinet of like all the legendary collection, some of the more higher end cards, like a cabinet that locks, like really heavy duty glass, like really nice. Like I'd pay for something crazy. But like right now, even like I did pay for something crazy for my PSA, my graded card collection. I got a crazy, like,
badass.
It's a huge case, and it's custom laser engraved and laser cut foam and lasered everything. And my man Kill Hall on Instagram did it for me, and I paid him, so it's not free product. I wish, but super dope. It is. So it holds all my PSA. It can hold like 100 cards right now,
and it holds PSA and BGS, right?
Yeah, I got him to make it for both sizes, and I might ask him again now, because I already have ideas to make. I can get more foam for it, so like I can do different foam inserts. I can buy another case if I wanted to, hell. But I want to get another one that's a slightly different design, maybe to add CGC slabs as well. So I'll have 3 rows and do PSA, Beckett, and CGC. And I think we can squish them together a little. Right now, I like how spaced apart they are, because it's such a cool, it doubles as a display almost. Like if you put it on the table, like you can really see all the end labels stick out, and you can just quickly.
A lot of those like kind of briefcase style cases I see, they are jammed in there, so you kind of just have to grab a card. You don't know what you're grabbing.
Right, and that was kind of the thing. Like, yes, you could probably fit like 1,000 PSA cards in this, like slabs in this case that I have. It's that big, but you wouldn't be able to see them. And so maybe that's just like another piece of foam that I get if I want to switch that out, because that's another cool thing with these style cases is the foam is replaceable, and depending on like what you want to do and how you want your card. And like I said, this is like a full custom laser engraving, so I'm not, or laser cutting for the foam.
Do you have a picture of it on your Instagram?
Yeah, I do. So
check out at OG Retro on Instagram if you want to see a picture of that.
I posted a couple posts back, maybe like 4, but yeah, it's just if you want to go that route, like that's something you can do, and that's something I can like lock. It's super like waterproof, fireproof, like
awesome,
super badass. So like, it definitely a good way to go if you want to keep them safe and you're not like putting them in a safety deposit box, because I think that's a good option too. Like if you have some really, really hot, number one, insure your collection. That's a no-brainer. You can add it onto like a renter's insurance. That's how I have mine through. You can add it. You can do it separate through like Haggerty and stuff.
Did you have to provide some type of like, this is what my collection's worth, or did they just kind of take your word for it?
I had to provide like some things, but low-key kind of fudged it and got it to work. And like, I hope in the day that I ever need to, I hope the day never comes that I need to make a claim. But I think I talked to them a bit about it. I should be covered for at least a good amount of it.
That's good.
I pay a good amount per month. So
yeah.
Anyways, get collector's insurance if you have some crazy shit, and consider if you do have some crazy shit and you live in an area that might not be as friendly or whatever, locking it up in a safety deposit box that you can go and check out, or somewhere that's safe.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I don't have many cards. I got one binder. I'm going for the base set. I just kind of keep my cards in there. I've got an Excel spreadsheet of cards I was still missing from that, so I'll like look at that whenever I find a lot or find pictures. Find cards. I've thought about going for the other sets. And for me, it really just comes down to space. It's like, do I need to start collecting more shit and taking up more room? But I think if I did do it, I would collect binder sets. And then for my graded cards, I just went on eBay and got graded card stands. I have a little shelf on the wall in my room, and I have all my graded card stands, and my cards kind of just facing out right there. And they display really nice, and the card stands are really cheap.
Hell yeah. I've 3D printed a couple of card stands myself. Awesome. And they work great for displaying the graded cards and such. I forgot to say, I was going to talk about sealed product real quick, how I do that. And like, there's someone on Instagram, silver.gt, who makes phenomenal acrylic. They remind me of one touches because they're magnetic. I guess they're for booster packs and blister packs and booster boxes, and like, they're so nice. So check him out too.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of his products. I have a bunch for my older vintage booster packs, and then a couple for blisters, and it's phenomenal work.
Awesome. And that's something I want to get more of, especially for like video game systems. It's like even just plastic cases for like some of my sealed systems.
Yeah.
And my birthday's coming up, so I was trying to think of stuff for my birthday. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just sending my girlfriend links, and she's gonna think I'm a loser, but I'm gonna say like, here, order me these.
Hell yeah. No, that's the way to go. Cool. All right, let's get to the viewer question.
So if you don't follow us already on Instagram at Cards and Cartridges Podcast, you are missing out. Every Wednesday on our story, we ask for a question of the week. This week's question of the week comes from our boy Young Games 916, the absolute homie on Instagram. If you're not already following him, check him out. He proposes a question. He asks, is the physical retail space gone for games and cards? And also thoughts on the current market versus where it's going. So I guess we can I don't know if he meant for us to take those in two separate questions or if they go together.
They kind of go together. We've talked about a lot about the market, but we can,
mainly focusing on, is the physical retail space gone for games and cards? And I think we'd be good to touch on this because we've ran live claim sales 30 plus now. So we online sell games.
Yeah.
And then also Young Games. I want to have him as a guest on the podcast. I think he'd be great for this topic too, is he actually owns an online retro game store called retrodealio.com. Check it out. But kind of, Ryan, what are your thoughts on his question?
Yeah. So I think, guys, let's be honest here. I think every industry is going online. Like it's digital or nothing really. Like unless you're a doctor, and even that, like telehealth now, like all my doctor's appointments during the pandemic were virtual. So like even that is a online thing now, apparently. So I think selling video games in a brick and mortar store just doesn't make sense. I don't like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all the brick and mortar store owners can prove me wrong and make way more money than me and, get better deals. And honestly, probably some of that is true. I know some stores that are still in business. I know another store that opened 2 times near me and closed both times.
Wow.
Because they just couldn't do it. Like, and so I think digital is the way to go. You're not paying overhead for, like, the overhead's way less, obviously.
The biggest thing. So I think there's 2 things.
And that's for video games. I can talk about cards in a little bit of a different angle.
Let's hit video games real quick. So the biggest advantage to having a physical brick and mortar store is your inventory comes to you.
100%.
I know from doing 30 live claim sales with Ryan, working a full-time job, trying to have fun as a 22-year-old, and then also it being the quote unquote slow season to where there's no garage sales. It's been difficult finding inventory. We've both been grinding our asses off to bring you guys inventory every 50 items a week. It's been crazy. So I think the biggest thing to a brick and mortar store is the inventory walks into you. Also, right. If you have a brick and mortar store, I think there are certain things you can do to really up your sales. And I'm going to talk. So I follow and watch daily Cy Cooper on YouTube. He's out in like Washington, Double Jump. He owns Double Jump Video Games, opened 2-3 years ago or whatever.
Washington is kind of a cheat code.
There's a
and
lot
I still want to hear
what
you have to say, because he's still probably doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
But I feel like Washington's kind of a cheat code because Nintendo headquarters is in Washington. There's so much video game history, so many video games in Washington.
Yeah.
Continue though.
So he brings the online aspect to his physical game store. So he has a online website, doublejumpvideogames.com, I think, like that. But he gets the word out there. He has daily vlogs where he kind of vlogs his life as a video game store manager. And one thing he does is he films all the trade-ins that come in, which I think it's cool. I like seeing what people bring into trade-in.
100%.
So he films all the trade-ins, shows everything. And it's like, yep, because his videos are filmed a day in advance. So he's like, as you guys are seeing these games, if you're local, pop in. They're already on the
shelf. That's smart.
If you're in Michigan where I am, they're already on the website. So you're doing that. And then he's got like, I don't know, he's made 60,000 subscribers or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's 60,000 subscribers across the world shopping at his store in Washington.
Right. No, exactly. There's definitely people that can make that work like that.
Also, just like I have my local game store, Retro Taco. They're a half hour away from me, so I'm not in there every day. But I follow their Facebook and their Instagram, and they post on their Facebook and their Instagram every trade-in that they get. So then I see something, I'm like, I want that. Maybe I wasn't planning to go to the store today, but I say, put that on hold for me. They say, I got you. And then I'm at their store buying that, looking around, trying to buy other stuff.
Yeah.
You can't just do a strictly brick and mortar. You have to have an online aspect too.
100. Yeah. Yeah. And that's just it. I think I was going to talk about like local card shops and stuff. I think they're a little bit different just because like trading card games are like meant to be played in person.
Yes.
And obviously we're seeing trading card games move online a lot too now, but still like playing in person is different. It's just the way it's supposed to be. And so I think there's
talk to a trading card store owner and kind of how their business practices it. Cause I would assume a lot of their like customers came in and played Pokemon or played Magic at like table. A lot of every trading card store I've been into have tables set up for people to play the games. I wonder how their business kind of changed with the pandemic and if they weren't allowed to have people in playing the games.
They weren't. I know the store by me definitely, because they're pretty big up in Ithaca. It's called like Great Escape Games or whatever. And they're pretty big. They have multiple tables set up. They do Warhammer, they do Magic, Pokemon, Flesh and Blood, every card, any card game you can think of, they're doing. But I know for a fact, I had a quick conversation with someone in there a little while back, but they had to pretty much shut everything down in terms of like in-person play during the pandemic for a pretty long time. And then now they're open for like a little bit, but I still don't think they do like tournaments and anything yet.
Exactly.
Which is it's huge. And this store, like Chris was saying, this store has a pretty good online presence and is really good at their prices are so good, dude. They sell Pokemon and stuff at retail, which just also doesn't make sense.
Prices. There's one store by me that went out of business like a year ago, and this was like before like the Pokemon game boom, like original Game Boy, when like silver, gold, red were like $25. They were selling it for like 80. So it's like you gotta have good prices too. Yeah. And just I think the key to being a good successful brick and mortar store is having an online presence. But like really the only reason, if I were to ever go full-time selling games, the only reason why I would choose brick and mortar is so the inventory comes to you.
Yeah.
It's such an advantage.
Definitely a huge advantage. If you can make that work, it's huge. Yeah. Because you still have to be able to get the inventory to come to you. Because who's to say someone
you're there? Yeah.
Right. Who's to say someone like me or you isn't going to snipe that inventory, you know?
Exactly. People gotta know you're there. But even like Cy Cooper on Washington, he's got this YouTube presence. People watch him. People sell him their collections from Ohio and they mail it to his store. Why not just go to the local game store in Ohio?
100%. That's badass.
You watch this guy, you like him, you want to support him, so you're shipping your stuff to Washington.
Yeah, it's badass. That's good for him. Good for him, dude.
And I know that's even a really cool angle. People have hit us up on Instagram and sold us stuff when they no doubt sell it locally or sell it on eBay. But like it's easier just to sell us. They trust us. We have our online presence and they know it's going to a good place.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think with that said, there's just like pros and cons to both. I think it's way harder to make a brick and mortar store work.
Yes.
I think, but yeah, there's some really good benefits to it.
Focus solely on one thing, then you're going to be hurting. So if you run a video game store, don't want to sell just video games. You want to get into plushes or like video game collectibles, or even you can sell Pokemon cards too, or things like that. Be diverse. The more diverse you are, the more people that are going to come through your door.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Do you want to? Yeah, I feel like that's it. Anything else?
No, I think that was a good episode.
Hell yeah. So guys, make sure to hit the like button. Thank you for listening. Number one, like button on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, all the other platforms. I don't know what you do. Maybe Apple, rate us on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Give us a 5-star rating. Throw a comment down. Yeah, it's a good question. Throw us a 5-star rating on, if you listen on Apple Music,
support the boys.
Support us with that 5-star rating. Live claim sales 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OG Retro. Watch my boy Kuzi on Twitch. Plug your Twitch, Kuzi.
Twitch.tv/Kuzi7.
Kuzi7 over on Twitch. Podcasts, obviously you're listening to this, but if you need a reminder, they come out 7 a.m. every Monday morning. So be on the lookout for the next episode. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.
See ya.